Hello everybody, Andrew Cuneo here. This is Arena Cube Open Day 2 Draft number 1. So I need to go either 3-1 or 4-0 to get to the second draft. Get to play for some money. So what do we got in this pack? I like Seasoned Pyromancer a lot. It's both very good in like a mono red deck, but really any deck that's comfortable casting double red spells is going to be pretty good. It's not exactly at home in a really controlling deck, but that isn't usually what red decks look like in this cube. This thing is okay. I don't think it's really a premium 5-drop. It's maybe above average. Kolaghan's Command is excellent. I'm a big fan of Mazemind Tome as well, but I'm just going to take Seasoned Pyromancer. There aren't really a whole lot of synergies with Seasoned Pyromancer in this cube, I would say. It's more just playing it for value. Like, I don't think there are any cards with Madness in the cube. There is some amount of regeneration stuff, but it's kind of a minor theme. Alright. I'm not a huge fan of mono red, but this pack is really bad. I might just be taking Experimental Frenzy. I don't have to be mono red just because I have Experimental Frenzy. I could be a 2-color deck, but I'm going to have to be a low to the ground aggressive deck, which means if I want to play 2 colors, I'm going to have to get a lot of dual lands. The other option is what? I'm not going to take Dragon's Rage Challenger's second. I think the best card in this pack is probably Primal Might, but it's really not that big of a standout. I'll just take Experimental Frenzy. Magnum Opus, which if you watched my video from day 1, was good for me. I'm a fan of it as a card. I'm not that big of a fan of it with what I've already got going on. Brash Taunter is surprisingly good in some games. I don't think it's a particularly high pick. I think I should just take Strangle. It's that or Elvish Mystic. Elvish Mystic is also really good. And it is a bit of a sign that it's your 3rd pick. But I don't think I can go wrong with just taking Strangle. Definitely I'll take Rekindling Phoenix here. I haven't been very impressed by a lot of the 1-mana red creatures, which is why I'm not that big of a fan of mono red. I think the Monastery Swiftspear is maybe an above average one, but it's still nothing special. Whereas I think Rekindling Phoenix, a lot of the times people just have a very hard time dealing with it because a lot of the removal does not work against it. I'm not going to pick Obosh. It's not, honestly, the worst. In mono red, but it's also not anything special. I think I'm just going to take Clifftop Retreat. I think I'm more likely to want to splash white cards than splash black cards. One of the black cards I would like to be able to splash is Kolaghan's Command, but I saw it in the first pack, and I don't think it's very likely to wheel. It's a red-green land. I think I'm going to take Light Up the Stage. This is another red 1-drop, which This card, this is what I'm talking about when I said I really don't like a lot of the red one drops. I think this card just stinks. Like, yes, you want cheap plays, but that thing, it just has a tendency. It sits in play and it does like 4 or 5 damage over the course of the game if you're lucky, and that your opponent just completely ignores it. All right, second red-white dual land. So I am on reasonable track to play a few white cards, assuming I get some good ones. I think there was a Thalia in my opening pack that if it wheels, I would consider playing it. There's Precursor Golem, which I listened to the limited resources where LSV talked about how much he liked this card. I thought he was a little bit crazy for how excited he was about it. But it's that or Jetmir's Garden. Leyline Binding would be maybe a sideboard card. I think I'll take the Precursor Golem. Like, one of the things that happens when you draft these aggressive red decks is there are a few creatures in the cube that are really problematic. Like Lyra, Wormcoil Engine would be two of the big ones. And if you're going to splash a little bit, especially in best of 3 where you're going to have sideboarding, it would be nice to be splashing some amount of answers. I think I'll take Brash Taunter over Kabira Takedown or Stormcarved Coast. Deck it. Don't like any of those. And blue was open. So I definitely came up a little bit short in the playable department. Mishra's Command's an okay card. It's like a bad version of Primal Might. I think I'm going to take Luminarch Aspirant. I do want to get some cheap creatures, and this is a very good cheap creature. Wandering Emperor is probably the best card in the pack, but I'd like to avoid double white cards, if at all possible. I think it's very unlikely Mishra's Command wheels. This pack has a lot of blue cards in it, and I don't think there's a lot of blue drafters at the table. And there's Scape Shift, which will 100% still be in the pack when I see it the next time. Alright. At least the person on my immediate left is not playing aggressive red. This is another pack, though, where I'm not going to get 2 cards out of it. Do I need to take the Battlefield Forge right now? These are pretty good cheap creatures. I think I should maybe take Grim Lavamancer. I hate this card in Constructed, but I think it's better in this cube. One reason not to take the Battlefield Forge is there's also the Savai Triome. So I think it's somewhat likely I get one of those two on the wheel. I would definitely prefer the Battlefield Forge, but it's not that big of an upgrade over the Triome. Definitely not going to take Star of Extinction. I think Rabbit Batter is another one. This is better than the Phoenix Chick, but it's still kind of mopey. I think this is a spot where maybe I should take Touch the Spirit Realm. This is one of those like splash removal spells that is good at dealing with some of the problematic cards for Mono Red. Also, Elder Gargaroth is another one. This isn't a good like Thragtusk is another kind of problematic card, and this is not doesn't really address Thragtusk. But Thragtusk, the value is all up front. You can't really beat it with a removal spell. There's this thing. which I could maybe play. There's also the Harvester, which would maybe, I mean, the Harvester's a better all-around card. This is like maybe a little bit more upside. I think I should take the Harvester. I don't really have a, I feel like I'm short on creatures. And I also don't want to wind up with a million white cards, which I'm beginning to think is, I'm just going to be short on cards. Really hope I don't have to play Kyodai, the Soul of Kamigawa, but I might. How many creatures do I have? I only have 6. Do I have any fake creatures in here? I guess the Harvester is a creature, so it's kind of 7. I definitely feel like I'm fighting other people for cards. These are both, I mean, this is not a double white card exactly, but you want a lot of white mana with it. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to accept that I'm probably going to have kind of bad mana to wind up with enough spells for my deck. Do I want a Lunch Veteran? I don't think so. Alright, the Battlefield Forge Wheel, there are creatures, but I think I need to take the good dual land. And I'll play Valorous Stance. I need to very much prioritize creatures for the last pack. I could play this. Could play this. Could maybe play Circuit Mender or Retrofitter Foundry. So I'm not going to be stuck just putting basic lands in my deck because I didn't get enough cards, but probably going to have to play a couple of mediocre ones. If I get more cheap creatures, that'll be a really nice card to field. This is another one that I need more cheap creatures for. Oh man. Normally I would take a Obliterating Bolt here and be really happy. I have so many spells and so few creatures though. I think I might just take the Dragon Master Outcast. I'm a bigger fan of this than like the Phoenix Chick, just because, yeah, this probably doesn't do as much chip damage, but it gets to the point where it is actually really threatening for the opponent. I don't think I want AO badly enough to take it over a Braid. We'll just take the Devastator. Mikaeus is nice as well. I think the Devastator's better, given that I don't have a ton of things that just make a lot of tokens. I'm not going to take Fires of Invention, so we can rule that one out. Don't really think this is a good deck for Palladium Mirror. I also don't think it's a very good deck for Rabble Rouser. I guess this thing isn't that bad. I could just play this. It's kind of, it's like a 4-power 3-drop. I think I'm taking one of these white creatures. Maybe it's supposed to be the Clarion Spirit. Wow, this pack is nice. I think I have a lot of good targets for the Bloodthirsty Adversary. Strangle, Stance, Braid. You can do 3 or less, so light up the stage. This is a less exciting target, but I think that's still a really nice pickup. There's like 4 or 5 cards out of that pack I would have been happy with. Another cheap creature. So I'm getting there on playables. This is turning out a little bit better than I was expecting. I don't think I'm going to put this in my main deck. Maybe I want this as a sideboard card, in case somebody has a lot of Planeswalkers.
When you can walk through walls, anything.
Ooh, Chaos Wheel, nice. Guess I should just hate draft the land. How many creatures did I actually wind up with? 13 plus Harvester. A couple of my cards make multiple creatures. Like the Hangerback Walker, Seasoned Pyromancer potentially, Precursor Golem. Although the Precursor Golem creatures don't always stick around. This looks pretty good. I am pretty even in terms of colors, which I did not really want to happen, but it did. Seems like there was a lot of people fighting for the red cards, which isn't that surprising in this cube. I don't think there's a way to make my mana better. Like I was considering, I could not play the Elspeth Conquers Death and instead play, I guess I could play Coyote or Brash Taunter. It doesn't really help me that much though, just because if I do, like I still have a ton of white 2-drops, so I don't really, I'm not going to cut a Plains just because I got rid of Elspeth Conquers Death. Question is Coyote better than one of my cards? I think the answer is no. So what are my removal spells, just so I can know when I'm playing? I've got Strangle, Stance, Abrade, Touch the Spirit Realm, ECD. The only way to gain life is Angel Fire Ignition. And my only way to deal damage to the face is like, I guess, Embercleave, Shivan Devastator. It's like I'm gonna need to, I can only end the game by attacking with creatures. I guess I can ping them Grim Lavamancer, but I can't draw like a fireball. Alright, this will work. Hoping to stabilize. Play my hand out a little bit more slowly. I have a lot of stuff that can allow me to win in a longer game, especially because their deck seems like it's kind of low to the ground. Need to remember to use one case. Should I just play Frenzy this turn, and then next turn I'll cast the Precursor Golem? I guess if I play the Frenzy this turn, it's just going to get countered. So, that's not really worth it. I think I'm going to minus one in the chaos. Before I attack, extra point of damage in. I think they needed another land, so they had a ton of small creatures. I think I'm actually going to board in Coyote just because I think there's going to be a lot of tiny creatures trading, which the flash giving thing indestructible is pretty good. And also this seemed like it just outsized their creatures. Very solid hand. Ooh, a 3-color deck. I guess explains why they didn't do very much last game. I can't even exile that with Touch the Spirit Realm, so there was no point in thinking about that. Do I want to just play that the Pyromancer this turn? Ditch the Harvester. Maybe the ECD. Do I want to put the counter on the Pyromancer? I think I do. I think they're going to have to kill the Luminarch Aspirant. Anyway. That didn't work out that well. playing Frenzy that turn just because I don't want Elspeth's Nightmare to take it. Okay. Hopefully they don't have Massacre Worm. I get Massacre Worm I still might be. Gutter Bones. I do not fear you, Gutter Bones. I think I'm just going to attack with everything. Alright. I'm gonna wait to see what they do on their turn rather than cracking the Frenzy. I think I'm still at a high enough life total that I should be, you know, giving myself an option to play for a longer game. I can crack either the Frenzy or sack the Remorseful Cleric to get the Grim Lavamancer online. I think I'm going to sack the Frenzy. I definitely want to kill this before they gain more life. Might be able to Alpha Strike in the air next turn. Probably I can finish them off with the Grim Lavamancer here. Alright. That was easy enough. Nice opening hand. My deck really has a lot of these creatures that Arena will give you the option to cast as 0/0s. Ideally, I draw a second red. I don't know that it needs to be next turn, though. I think that my next turn's probably just going to be Strangle, grow the Hanger Backwalker. I guess I could draw a 3-drop that would change things. What land is this? Spikefield Hazard. Wow. They must really need lands if they're in the Spikefield Hazard when I had the 1/1 Hanger Backwalker. Alright, so now I can't spend mana on the... Hanger Backwalker, so I probably want to play Seasoned Pyromancer. Certainly ditching the Plains, and I think the Precursor Golem. I think Strangle's too valuable. There's some merit to making sure I make my land drops to get the Dragon Master Outcast to eventually do something. But I don't think that's really my main priority. I'm going to Strangle Monastery Swift Spear. It allows me to attack for 1 extra damage. I think not. No, I think I screwed up. I could have tapped 2 planes for the Passport and been able to cast Strangle. Although it's not clear I really want to Strangle the Phoenix of Ash either. I can bring the Phoenix Splash back this turn. Alright, land off the top. Against... You're mono red, right? They have good targets for ECD. 2 Phoenixes. Probably want Circuit Mender in my deck. I think this guy's a little bit too expensive. I want Valorous Stance. Valorous Stance seemed kind of weak. I mean, I could give a thing indestructible, but that's really not that exciting. I do have the Brash Taunter Star of Extinction combo, which I don't think is going to be in my deck at any point during this draft, but it's kind of fun. They had a lot of things, of removal spells that were very effective against Precursor Golem. Not in terms of they got a benefit, but they were all pretty mana efficient. So I think that's a good one to board out. Oh, they're playing white as well. I don't think I need to trade with that. That thing is scary. Yeah, I'm not gonna win. Just attack with my Devastator. I'm already dead to almost. I think it's worth just attacking. Maybe I do want Valorous Stance if they have Glory Bringer and Shivan Devastator. I don't think we saw why they had white in their deck. It might be to show down with Scalds. Could have some mana problems this game, but if I draw any third land, I can just play the Seasoned Pyromancer, and I have Strangle to buy me a little bit of time. I'm gonna ditch Angel of Fire Infusion and Clarion Spirit. This has worked out to be a pretty strong hand. They don't even have a fourth land, so they can't go fifth land Glorybringer next turn. Embercleave and Seasoned Pyromancer, a good combination. I'll keep, but I don't draw a creature or two by turn 4 or 5. It's going to be ugly. That was not what I needed. They obviously have a removal spell in their hand because it's pausing like this. I did want to mulligan in part just because my deck has a fair number of things that, you know, if I make my land drops, I get some card advantage. Or, like, if I drew Seasoned Pyromancer, mulliganing would be really bad. Also, Experimental Frenzy, you really want to make your land drops as you're starting the game. This gets a creature or planeswalker from my graveyard with a +1/+1 counter. So it would get my Grim Lavamancer back in 2 turns. The second step on this, where their spells cost 2 more to cast, is actually kind of nice here because, well, it would have meant that I could safely buff up the Harvester with Angelfire Ignition. This is what I'm going to do. This is Crew 1. Should probably put a counter on the Luminarch Aspirant next turn, just so this thing dying doesn't cause it to my aspirant to die. I maybe should have done that on my previous turn. It's possible I'm gonna be able to do a giant Embercleave hit with the Harvester next turn, depending on what they do with their turn. Probably don't want to try to do that into open mana. I'm not going to do that into open mana. Kind of feel like this is about to die, but that's fine. Oh, I still have Spectacle because they played Infernal Grasp. Does this thing combo with Angel Fire Ignition? It does. So far they've played 3 black instant removal spells. Cards we have in the yard 6, so I'm definitely going to use the Grim Lavamancer, probably to kill this Devil token. Kill the Dream instead. I want to leave instants and sorceries because of Bloodthirsty Adversary. I think ECD is the other card that uses the graveyard that I have, and I've already used it, so I don't need to worry about that. Should I get rid of the Phoenix while I can? Kind of feel like that's a good idea. What? Okay. Didn't want to fight anymore. So they're aggressive-ish red-black. They had so much instant speed removal. I think I don't really want Angel Fire Ignition in my deck. I'm just going to play the Circuit Mender. Unless I want Brash Taunter. I don't think so. I think I'm going to do the same thing where I board in Kyodai over Precursor Golem because they had a fair amount of stuff that was pretty efficient against the Precursor Golem. Might be able to surprise them with Kyodai to save something. I think I'm going to keep Valorous Stance in my deck for game 2, but it doesn't look think it's going to be amazing in this matchup. Could maybe board in Treasure Map for it. Trying to play a slower, grindier game. Did they play? I didn't play anything that killed artifacts. No, I'm gonna just board in the Infernal Sun, or the Immortal Sun. I think that's like a version of Treasure Map that's actually just better. And they did play one Planeswalker. Black also has some pretty good Planeswalkers in this cube. Lolth is strong. There's 3-mana Liliana. I think there's also Sorin. I think this Mikaeus is destined to die. Oh, that was very unfortunate. I think I'm just gonna go for a Coyote Ambush on Legion War Boss. I think if they have a removal spell, this game is kind of out of reach. Keep my Battlefield Forge safe, please. I'm not going to have the Immortal Sun in my deck if they have Kolaghan's Command. And they did. They played Sky Siren, which I might want a Valorous Stance. I think it's not really been a very good Embercleave deck, at least the way I've been drawing. Okay. It's tempting to just not do that and just have ECD for next turn, but if they don't play anything, and I didn't use all my mana on turn, like if I don't use any mana on turn 4 and then also Even on turn 5, it's kind of a disaster. Turns out it would have worked out a lot better, probably, if we'd done something. Probably need to have a very good turn next turn. With Frenzy to have much of a chance.
Ever grows.
Hey, about that, let's have a really good turn plan. It worked out.
A lost battle does not quell my fury.
Now they need a really good turn, I think, because it's close to the point where I can just ditch the Frenzy and have really good plays for the rest of the game. That's a pretty good play. Okay. Phyrexian Arena's been a popular card for my opponents to have. I didn't attack with the Harvester last turn because, well, I couldn't give it lifelink. I've used all my energy. And I want it to be able to prevent the Sheoldred from attacking, which the fact that I have the Kyodai protecting the Harvester means that It's really hard for, like, they need 2 removal spells to be able to punch through with Shieldred. My hand is so strong that I think I just need to play to get to the point where I can crack the Frenzy. So they still... They could attack at this point. I'm just gonna crack the Frenzy. I think I have all of the cards I need to win. Just need to get to the point where I can play them. And I really do need to get the Shieldred off the board as quickly as possible. Shieldred is really good. Newsflash. Gonna be taking a lot of pings. I don't think they can kill me. Oh no, actually they do kill me. Dead. Because they sack this, they get another zombie, they sack the Phoenix, they can sack the egg. I'm just dead. We needed like one more turn. Please use your mana on something other than killing me. I think they've pieced it together. They didn't need the Gifted Aetherborn. They could have gotten a second token from the Jadar. I mean, they didn't even. I don't think they needed the second token because they could sack the Blood Artist and munitions. Much better hand than what I had to work with last match. It's a white-red mirror. You can hold on to the frenzy. Would have been nice if they'd blocked a little bit differently, but this is obviously still fine. Again with the Rekindling Phoenix. Please just die to the Seasoned Pyromancer. They're attacking me. That's a bad sign. Have a Wandering Emperor. They could have Resto Angel. It's got to be one of those, right? I guess I could have, like, a Braid or Lightning Bolt, too. I'm just going to attack with everything and see. Keep my mana. That's the angel. I'm going to be greedy and I'm going to play the white of the stage to try to make a land drop. Greed rewarded, as always. Probably not going to bother with Angel Fire Ignition next turn. No, they put my guy in a hole. That was embarrassing. Humiliating, even. Ooh, it's gonna get exciting. Not sure that was a good attack by them. Like, they're at a low enough life total that I think they don't want to just let me hit them with the Luminarch Aspirant. I could have left the Young Pyromancer back. That doesn't save them. For as good as my start was, I actually put up a pretty good fight. So what did I see that I cared about? Ways to kill artifacts are pretty good. I think I only have a braid. They have it's Strangle and Patriarch's Humiliation, which are both potentially one-man answers to Precursor Golem. I definitely want Valorous Stance between the Maul of the Skyclaves and the Resto Angel. And they could play a big Steel Seraph. I think I'm just going to leave it like it is. They hit Patriarch's Humiliation, which could potentially get me if I go for Angel Fire Ignition, but they didn't seem to have a ton of instant speed stuff. I don't know how many red cards there are in this cube that just kill artifacts. I have a Braid. I don't think there's that many other ones. There's not like a... I don't think there's a creature that kills an artifact. Like, I don't think Embrest Shieldbreaker is in the cube. There's probably one or two that I'm not thinking of, but it's not... I wouldn't say that there's a lot of cards that kill artifacts. Phoenix of my own. Please don't play Rekindling Phoenix. It's going to answer the Frenzy next turn. And because the creature comes back with a +1/+1 counter on her, I can actually get Mikaeus back. That's kind of nice. I'm going to be using ECD to destroy the Experimental Frenzy, so I think they're going to have a better use for their turn than hitting me with the Bugbear. I'm not that concerned about keeping the egg alive, or I guess it's an elemental, not an egg, with Valorous Stance, just because in 2 turns I can get the Phoenix back anyway. That's kind of cool. Wow, their hand is real bad. This is the play. Maybe they're just desperately digging for something to deal with the Phoenix. Should I leave Valor's Stance up now? I think maybe. I don't know that there's ways to deal like a ton of damage to exiles. It's kind of obnoxious. You're destroying my ACD and drawing a card? No, wait, you're not destroying my ACD. Why did you do that, opponent? So I could put them to 5, but then I am kind of all in on this Rekindling Phoenix. Seems okay. I guess I could also make this thing a 5/4. That doesn't seem as good though. I think it's going to take too long to attack through the ground, to get through the Dragon Inspector and the Lauren. Going to play a protection strategy with this Phoenix. I can either flicker it with Touch the Spirit Realm or Valorous Stance. I can use Valorous Stance to kill. Let's see if I can kill that. Whoa, we're attacking with the Den of the Bugbear? I was not expecting that. Why is this happening to me? Oh, they wanted to draw a card. Their hand must just be all lands. Should I trade with the Den of the Bugbear? Doesn't matter, right? I think I'll just Goblin. They can have their Den of the Bugbear. I think they still would have lost if they had used this to destroy ECD, but it was obviously just, it was like straight up worse to destroy the Simulacrum rather than the ECD. I just got, I guess the Simulacrum had Summoning Sickness for 1 extra turn, but I got 3 more counters out of the deal. Alright, on to draft number 2, which will happen in a subsequent video. I'll have to wait a few hours before I can do the draft. And hope you guys tune back in to see it then. Open day 2, draft 2 token. So I mean, I go into a single elimination draft rather than a double elimination draft. That's the extra reward I would have gotten for winning one more match, was being in a double elimination draft. But still, I'm in a draft for money. And I'll see you guys then.